Welcome back to Z Coins. Today, we're going to talk about a coin you might just have in your pocket right now, the 2010 D Lincoln Penny. Believe it or not, some of these coins are worth a jaw-dropping $1.3 million. Yeah, you heard that right. So grab your magnifying glasses, because we're about to explore the history, value, and everything you need to know about the 2010 D Lincoln Penny. To understand why the 2010 D Lincoln Penny is so special, we need to take a quick journey back in time. The Lincoln Penny, first introduced in 1909, was created to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a portrait designed by sculptor Victor David Brenner. Over the years, the Lincoln Penny has seen several design changes, including the reverse design which featured wheat stalks until 1959, and later the Lincoln Memorial until 2008. But 2010 marked a special year for the Lincoln Penny. Not only was it the second year of the new shield reverse design, which replaced the Lincoln Memorial, but it was also a year that gave birth to one of the rarest and most valuable errors in modern coinage. The 2010 Lincoln Penny was struck in large quantities by the Denver Mint, which is indicated by the D Mint mark on the coin. Most of these pennies are just your standard everyday coins. However, a very small number were minted with a unique and valuable error that makes them worth far more than their face value. So what makes this coin so special? The key lies in the double die obverse error. This error occurs when the coin is struck more than once, causing a slight misalignment. As a result, the date, the mint mark, and sometimes even Lincoln's portrait appear doubled, giving the coin a distinctive look. But the error on the 2010 D penny goes beyond just doubling. Some of these coins also exhibit a floating roof error on the reverse, where the top of the Lincoln Memorial appears detached or floating above the columns. The combination of these errors makes the 2010 D Lincoln Penny a sought-after rarity among collectors. Now, let's talk about the million-dollar question, literally. How did a 2010 D Lincoln Penny end up being worth $1.3 million? In 2019, a 2010 D Lincoln Penny with a double die obverse and a pristine condition known as MS69 was sold at auction for a staggering $1.3 million. This particular penny was unique not only because of the mint error, but also due to its incredible state of preservation, which is extremely rare for coins in circulation. Most of the coins we find in our pocket change are in circulated condition, meaning they have nicks, scratches, and general wear from being handled over time. But this 2010 D penny was in such exceptional condition that it drove its value through the roof. Plus, when you combine that with the rare minting errors, you get a recipe for a record-breaking sale. Alright, so now you're probably thinking, how can I find out if my 2010 D penny is worth a fortune? Well, let's break down what you should be looking for. First, grab a magnifying glass or, even better, a jeweler's loupe. You want to closely inspect the obverse side of the coin. That's the side with Lincoln's portrait. Look for any signs of doubling, especially around the date, the word liberty, and the phrase, "In God we trust." If you see any signs of doubling, you might just be in luck. Next, flip the coin over to the reverse side and examine the Lincoln Memorial or shield. Look for the floating roof effect or any unusual gaps between the roof and the columns. The more pronounced these errors, the more valuable your penny might be. Finally, check the overall condition of the coin. Even with errors, a coin's value can significantly drop if it's heavily worn or damaged. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for coins in mint condition, so handle your coins carefully. So, what is the current market value for a 2010 D Lincoln Penny? And what can we expect in the future? Currently, a 2010 D Lincoln Penny with a double die obverse error in good condition can fetch anywhere from a few hundred to several $1,000s, depending on the severity of the error and the coin's condition. The $1.3 million sale was an extraordinary case, driven by both rarity and the impeccable condition of that particular coin. As for the future, well, the coin market is always fluctuating, but with coins like these, their value tends to increase over time, especially as they become more scarce and sought after by collectors. So, if you happen to find one, it might be worth holding on to it and seeing how the market evolves. Okay, let's say you find a valuable 2010 D Lincoln penny. What do you do next? First, get your coin authenticated and graded by a professional grading service, like the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS) or the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation (NGC). These organizations will evaluate the coin's condition and authenticate its mint error, which is crucial for determining its value. Once your coin is graded, you have a few options. You can sell it through a reputable coin dealer, auction house, or even online on sites like eBay or dedicated coin selling platforms. Remember, selling through an auction house can often yield higher prices, especially for rare and valuable coins like the 2010 D Lincoln penny. So there you have it, folks. The story of the 2010 D Lincoln penny and why it's making waves in the numismatic world. Who would have thought that a simple penny could be worth millions? Remember to always check your pocket change, because you never know what treasures you might find. We have an absolutely fascinating story about a penny that might just be worth its weight in gold, literally. We're talking about the 2020 Mink Mark Lincoln penny, a coin that has recently caught the attention of collectors around the world. Some claim its current market value to be as high as $1.2 million. But what's the story behind this rare penny, and is it really worth that much? Stay tuned as we dive into the history, value, and the mystery behind this coin. To truly appreciate the 2020 Mink Mark penny, we first need to take a quick trip back in time. The Lincoln penny, or the Lincoln cent, has been a staple of American currency since 1909. This was the year the U.S. Mint decided to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth by placing his portrait on the front of the 1-cent coin. The Lincoln penny was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, marking a significant shift in American coinage design. Over the years, the design of the Lincoln penny has seen some changes, especially on the reverse side. From the wheat ears design, which lasted until 1958, to the Lincoln Memorial, which was featured from 1959 to 2008, and now the shield design, introduced in 2010. Each change reflects a piece of American history. Now, fast forward to 2020. A batch of Lincoln pennies was minted with what collectors are now calling the Mink Mark. But what exactly is this Mink Mark? Well, it appears to be a curious minting error or possibly a deliberate design modification that sets it apart from any other penny we've seen. The Mink Mark name comes from an unusual feature observed on these coins. Right below the year 2020, there's a small, distinct marking that resembles an animal paw print, which some say looks like a mink's paw. This mark isn't found on any other Lincoln pennies from the same year or previous years, making it an anomaly. Some speculate it's an error, while others think it could have been a secret mark made by a rogue mint worker or an experimental design that accidentally went into circulation. Now, you might be asking, why does this tiny mark make the penny so valuable? Great question. In the world of numismatics, the study or collection of currency, error coins or coins with unique markings can be incredibly valuable. Collectors love rarity, and the more unique a coin is, the higher its potential value. Error coins often fetch high prices because they're essentially one of a kind or part of a very limited batch. For example, the 1955 double die penny or the 1943 copper penny are famous for being incredibly rare and have sold for thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The mink mark penny could very well follow in those footsteps, especially if only a few were minted and discovered. So, where does the $1.2 million figure come from? This astronomical valuation has been swirling around online forums and auction sites, largely fueled by rumors and speculative listings. Some coin enthusiasts and experts believe that if this penny is authenticated and proven to be a legitimate mint error or a rare minting variety, it could be worth that much, especially if it's the only one known to exist. ETs talk about the current market value of this coin and the steps you need to take if you think you've found one. As of now, no official sale has confirmed the $1.2 million price tag, but the coin has caught enough attention to be worth serious money to collectors. If you think you have a mink mark penny, the first thing you should do is get it authenticated by a professional grading service like the PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. These services can verify the coin's authenticity, condition, and any unique features it may have, including the supposed mink mark. Authentication is crucial because it provides legitimacy and can significantly affect the coin's value. Currently, collectors are willing to pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars for one of these pennies, depending on its condition and confirmation of the mark's authenticity. So, is the 2020 mink mark Lincoln penny really worth $1.2 million? Well, that remains to be seen. The coin collecting community is abuzz with speculation, and until a verified sale occurs, we can only guess. What's certain is that this penny has sparked a lot of interest and excitement. Whether it's a mint error or a deliberate feature, it's a fascinating piece of modern numismatic history. We're diving into a coin that's making waves in the numismatic world, the 1985 mink mark Lincoln cent. Yes, you heard that right, a penny that's worth up to $1.4 million. Stay tuned to find out how you could potentially own this valuable piece of history. The story of the 1985 mink mark Lincoln penny begins in an era when the United States Mint was undergoing several transitions. The 1980s were a fascinating time for coin collectors. With the increasing use of copper-plated zinc, the Mint was experimenting with new processes and materials. However, not all coins were created equally. Some coins bore peculiarities that have made them the stuff of legends. So let's talk about the penny itself. The 1985 Lincoln penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial Series, which started in 1959 and ran all the way through to 2008. This series honored Abraham Lincoln's 150th birthday and showcased the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse side. However, the 1985 edition had something a little different, something quite rare indeed. What makes this penny so special, you ask? It's the so-called mink mark. Now, what on earth is a mink mark? Actually, this term has caused a lot of confusion and even controversy in the coin collecting community. Some people speculate that it is an error coin featuring a unique mint mark anomaly, a kind of phantom or ghost mark that only appeared on a handful of 1985 pennies. This mink mark anomaly seems to be an unintended impression, possibly caused by a damaged or double-struck die. It's believed that during the minting process, the die might have been improperly cleaned or there was debris, leading to an indistinct marking that resembles a ghost or faded mint mark. What's interesting is that this is not an official variant issued by the Mint, but rather a result of a mistake. The first known discovery of the mink mark 1985 penny happened quite by accident. It was found in circulation by a keen-eyed collector who noticed something odd about the mint mark under magnification. Since then, only a handful of these coins have been authenticated, making them incredibly rare. To date, fewer than 10 of these pennies have been discovered, and their rarity has only added to their intrigue and value. Just imagine there could be more of these coins out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. Alright, let's get to the part you're all here for. How much is this penny actually worth? Because of its rarity and the mysterious nature of the minting error, the 1985 Mink Mark Lincoln penny has skyrocketed in value. As of today, one such coin was sold at auction for a staggering $1.4 million. That's right, a simple penny that's now worth more than $1 million. So why does it fetch such a high price? It comes down to three main factors: rarity, condition, and demand. This particular penny is not only extremely rare, but also has a unique story and an unexplained minting anomaly. The numismatic community loves a good mystery, and they're willing to pay top dollar for it. So, you're probably wondering, do I have one of these $1 million pennies? Well, here's how you can find out. First, grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look carefully at the area just under the date on your 1985 penny where the mint mark should be. If you see any faint or indistinct marks that resemble a ghost or shadow, you might just have a Mink Mark penny. Next, check the condition of your coin. The better the condition, the higher the value. However, even a penny in circulated condition with a clear mink mark can be worth a significant amount. It's always a good idea to get your coin certified by a reputable grading service like PCGS or NGC. Certification not only authenticates the coin, but also gives it a grade that determines its market value. A coin with a high grade and clear mink mark could potentially be your ticket to a big payday. So there you have it, the mysterious and incredibly valuable 1985 Mink Mark Lincoln penny. A tiny coin with a massive story and an even bigger price tag. Whether you're an avid coin collector or just someone with a jar of pennies lying around, it's always worth taking a closer look. Who knows? You might just strike gold, or in this case, copper. We're talking about a coin that has been making headlines recently, the 1984 Lincoln cent, also known as the 1984 penny. And guess what? It could be worth up to $1.5 million. That's right. So let's dive into the history, the mystery, and why this particular penny is so valuable today. Stay tuned. The Lincoln cent, or penny, has been a staple of American currency since 1909. This iconic coin, featuring the profile of President Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, was introduced to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. The design by Victor David Brenner replaced the Indian head penny and has remained largely unchanged since its inception, making it the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. In 1982, the U.S. Mint made a significant change to the Lincoln cent due to rising copper prices. They switched the composition of the penny from 95% copper to a zinc core with a thin copper coating. This change resulted in a much lighter coin and also laid the groundwork for some interesting minting errors, including the 1984 penny we're discussing today. So, what makes the 1984 Lincoln penny so special? The answer lies in a unique minting error known as the double die obverse. But first, let's understand what a double die is. A double die error occurs during the coin minting process when the die used to strike the coin features a design that has been accidentally impressed twice at slightly different angles. This results in a doubling effect that's particularly noticeable in the lettering and date on the coin. The 1984 double die penny is known for its noticeable doubling on the word liberty and the phrase "In God We Trust" on the obverse side. This doubling is clear and distinct, making it one of the more prominent double die errors in the Lincoln cent series. Back in 1984, when these pennies were first released into circulation, most people had no idea there was anything special about them. It wasn't until a few keen-eyed collectors noticed the error that the 1984 double die penny began to gain attention. Over time, it became clear that this was no ordinary penny. Estimates suggest that only a few thousand of these error coins were minted, and even fewer remain in mint condition today. The rarity of the 1984 double die penny, coupled with its unique appearance, has made it a hot item among collectors. Now, let's talk about the money. How did a simple penny end up being worth up to $1.5 million? The answer lies in a combination of factors, including its rarity, condition, and demand among collectors. Like any collectible, the value of a coin is heavily influenced by its condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect, mint condition coin. For the 1984 double die penny, the highest prices are commanded by coins that are graded in mint state MS 65 or higher. In recent years, a few examples of the 1984 double die penny in high grades have sold for impressive amounts at auctions. One notable sale occurred at a major coin auction where a pristine example, graded MS 67 by the Professional Coin Grading Service (PCGS), fetched an astonishing $1.50 million. His jaw-dropping sale sent shockwaves through the numismatic community and put the 1984 double die penny firmly in the spotlight. But why are collectors willing to pay so much for this particular coin? To understand the current market value, it's important to recognize that coin collecting is not just a hobby, it's also a form of investment. Rare coins like the 1984 double die penny are considered blue-chip collectibles. They have a proven track record of increasing in value over time, especially when they are well preserved. The market value of the 1984 penny varies greatly depending on its condition and the presence of the doubling error. While a typical 1984 penny might only be worth face value or slightly more, those with a double die error in good condition can fetch anywhere from a few hundred to several $1,000s. But as we've seen, the highest grade examples can go for 6 or even 7 figures. This makes the 1984 double die penny not only a rare find but also a potentially lucrative investment for the future. Alright, so how can you tell if you've got one of these valuable pennies? First, you'll need a good magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Examine your 1984 penny carefully, focusing on the word liberty and the phrase "In God We Trust." If you notice a clear doubling in the letters, you might have a double die penny. Once you've identified a potential double die penny, it's crucial to handle it properly. Always use gloves to avoid getting oils from your hands on the coin, and consider placing it in a protective holder to prevent any damage. For high-value coins, getting a professional grade from a recognized service like PCGS or NGC can also help maximize its value. And remember, if you're unsure about your coin, consult with a professional numismatist or coin dealer who can help verify its authenticity and condition. So, there you have it, the story of the 1984 Lincoln penny that's worth a staggering $1.5 million. Who would have thought that a simple coin in your pocket could be so valuable? If you have any old pennies lying around, now might be the time to take a closer look. You never know, you might just be holding on to a small fortune. We're exploring a tiny piece of history that's turning heads in the numismatic world, the 1980 Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, some versions of this penny are reportedly worth up to $1.6 million. That's right, folks, a single cent that could be worth more than $1 million. Stick around, because we're going to uncover why this coin is so special, its fascinating history, and what makes it worth a fortune today. To understand the significance of the 1980 Lincoln penny, we need to rewind a bit. The Lincoln cent, featuring the profile of the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln, was first introduced in 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this coin replaced the Indian head cent and marked the first time a real person, and not a symbol of liberty, was featured on U.S. coinage. This was a huge deal back then. Over the years, the design of the Lincoln penny has changed subtly. The 1909 version featured wheat stalks on the reverse side, which later changed to the Lincoln Memorial in 1959, commemorating Lincoln's 150th birthday. This design was in circulation until 2008. Fast forward to 1980. The Lincoln penny was still in circulation, and the 1980D version was minted in Denver. Most of these coins are pretty common, and you might even find one in your pocket change today. However, there are some unique characteristics of the 1980D penny that make certain versions incredibly valuable. The D mint mark indicates that the coin was minted in Denver. In 1980, there were millions of pennies struck at the Denver Mint. So what makes some of these coins worth more than others? The main reason why some 1980D Lincoln pennies are worth so much comes down to errors, misprints, and extremely rare die varieties. In the world of coin collecting, these errors are often what make a coin stand out and become highly valuable. For example, double die errors, where the images are imprinted twice slightly off-center, can make a penny worth thousands or even millions. Another rare feature might be a misaligned die or an off-center strike, where the design of the coin isn't perfectly centered. While most 1980D Lincoln pennies are worth only their face value or slightly more due to their copper content, some rare error coins have sold for thousands of dollars at auctions. And in one extraordinary case, a 1980D Lincoln penny reportedly fetched a staggering $1.6 million. Now, let's talk about that $1.6 million figure. You might be wondering, why would anyone pay that much for a penny? Well, the world of rare coin collecting is all about rarity, condition, and demand. A single coin can become incredibly valuable if it's one of a kind or has a significant error that's almost impossible to find elsewhere. In the case of the 1980D Lincoln penny, this particular coin is rumored to have an extremely rare error that makes it unique. While details are scarce, perhaps due to the private nature of such high-value transactions, what we do know is that its rarity and the frenzy among collectors can drive prices through the roof. In numismatics, sometimes all it takes is one big auction sale to set a new precedent for a coin's value. If a prominent collector decides a coin is worth that much, the market can follow suit, driving prices to unbelievable heights. So, what's the current market value for the 1980D Lincoln penny? Well, most are only worth their face value, or maybe a few cents more if they're in uncirculated condition. However, pennies with errors can be worth much more. If you're lucky enough to find an error penny, like a double die or a significant misstrike, you could be looking at hundreds, thousands, or even more, depending on the rarity and the demand among collectors. If you have a 1980D penny, grab a magnifying glass and check it out closely. Look for any unusual markings, doubled images, or off-center designs. These small details could mean big money. Now, if you do find a potentially valuable penny, what should you do? First, you'll want to have it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service, like PCGS or NGC. They can authenticate the coin and give it a grade, which can significantly impact its value. Once you have your coin graded, consider your selling options. You could go to an auction house, sell it online through platforms like eBay, or even reach out directly to collectors. The key is to ensure that you're reaching the right audience who understands the true value of your coin. Remember, the coin market can be volatile, so it's crucial to do your research and perhaps consult with a coin expert to get the best deal. So there you have it, folks, the intriguing story of the 1980D Lincoln penny. While not every penny from 1980 will make you a millionaire, it's the thrill of the hunt and the possibility of discovering a rare gem that keeps collectors going. Who knows? Maybe that penny in your pocket could be worth a fortune. We're diving into a story that might just blow your mind. The tale of a humble 1975 Lincoln penny that could be worth up to $1.7 million. You heard that right. A simple 1-cent coin that's worth more than $1 million. How did this happen? What makes this penny so special? And how can you spot one? Let's find out. First, let's talk about the history of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln penny, also known as the Lincoln cent, was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first American coin to feature a president's portrait and has since become one of the most recognized and widely circulated coins in the United States. By 1975, the Lincoln penny had undergone several changes, especially in its composition and design. Most pennies minted in 1975 were made of copper and zinc, a composition that remained largely unchanged since 1962. So what makes the 1975 Lincoln penny stand out? The answer lies not just in the year, but in a rare error that's captured the attention of collectors worldwide. Here's where things get interesting. The 1975 Lincoln cent we are talking about is not just any penny. It's a coin with a fascinating minting error. Known as the 1975 No-S Lincoln cent, this coin was mistakenly minted without the S mint mark, which would normally indicate it was produced at the San Francisco Mint. Mistakes in coin production aren't unusual, but what makes this particular error so significant is its rarity. The U.S. Mint has strict quality control measures to catch these kinds of errors, but a few coins still slip through the cracks. Now, you might be wondering how such an error could occur. Usually, dies used in coin production are specifically prepared to include the mint mark. However, in 1975, a batch of dies was accidentally shipped to the San Francisco Mint without the S mark. These dies were then used to strike a limited number of pennies, creating this rare No-S variant. This wasn't the first time the U.S. Mint had made a mistake like this. Similar No-S coins exist for other years and denominations, but the 1975 Lincoln cent is among the rarest. So why is this penny worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million? The value of any rare coin is determined by several factors: rarity, demand, and condition. The 1975 No-S Lincoln cent checks all these boxes. Only a handful of these coins are known to exist, making them extremely rare. Rarity naturally drives up demand, especially among serious collectors. And when one of these coins is found in mint condition, or what collectors call gem-proof condition, its value skyrockets. Another reason for its high value is its historical significance. Coin collectors love a good story, and this coin has a great one. It represents a unique mistake in the history of U.S. coinage, making it a must-have for any serious collection. The current market value of a 1975 No-S Lincoln cent in perfect condition is estimated at around $1.7 million. This figure isn't just a guess. It's based on recent auction sales and the increasing demand for rare coins. In 2019, one such penny was sold at auction for over $1.5 million, setting a record for a penny from that era. Since then, collectors and investors alike have been on the lookout for these rare coins, driving the price even higher. Now, the big question: could you have one of these rare pennies in your own collection? Here's how you can find out. 1. Look for the year 1975 on the front of the penny. Just below Lincoln's portrait. 2. Flip the penny over and check above the date. If there's an S, it's not the rare one. But if you see no mint mark, you might have something special. 3. If you think you have a 1975 No-S penny, your next step should be to get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. Authentication is crucial. Many counterfeit coins are circulating, and a professional grading service will ensure your coin's legitimacy and determine its grade, which greatly affects its value. While the 1975 No-S Lincoln cent is exceptionally rare and valuable, there are other pennies worth keeping an eye out for, such as the 1943 copper penny, the 1955 double die penny, and the 1969 S double die obverse penny. Each of these pennies has its own unique story and value, proving that even a coin worth just 1 cent can be a hidden treasure. And there you have it, folks. The incredible story of the 1975 Noah's Lincoln penny, a true marvel of the numismatic world. Who would have thought a tiny penny could be worth $1.7 million? So next time you come across a jar of old coins, take a moment to check for hidden gems. You never know, you might just strike it rich. We're diving into the fascinating world of coin collecting and numismatics. And boy, do we have an intriguing story for you. We're talking about a humble 1-cent piece that could be worth a fortune, $1.6 million to be exact. Yes, you heard that right. A 1971 Lincoln penny that's making headlines in the numismatic world. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's uncover the secrets behind this incredibly valuable penny. To truly appreciate the value of this coin, we need to start with a bit of history. The Lincoln penny has been a staple of American currency since 1909, marking the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin was revolutionary at the time because it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person. Over the years, the design has seen several changes, especially on the reverse side, but the obverse, showcasing Lincoln's profile, has remained a constant. The Lincoln cent has had several reverse designs over the years. From the original wheat ear design to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959, and more recent changes, each modification tells a unique story about the times in which it was minted. But today, we're zooming in on a very specific penny, the 1971 Lincoln cent, which has a hidden treasure trove of value. So what makes the 1971 penny so special? First, let's break down the basics. The D mint mark on the penny indicates that it was minted in Denver. In 1971, the Denver Mint produced over 2.9 billion pennies, so it's fair to ask, why is this one particular penny potentially worth millions? Here's where it gets interesting. Like many valuable coins, the value lies in a mistake. There are a few known errors on the 1971 penny that can increase its value significantly, but the most noteworthy is a rare doubling effect on the obverse side of the coin. The doubling effect, also known as a double die, occurs when the coin die is not properly aligned during the minting process. This causes certain elements on the coin, like the date, mint mark, or letters, to appear doubled or blurry. The 1971 penny we're talking about today features a noticeable doubling on the obverse side, particularly around Lincoln's profile and the text. This makes it a double die obverse, or DDO in numismatic terms. These errors are incredibly rare, and they can turn an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. Why? Because errors like these are almost always unique. In the case of the 1971 penny, the error is so distinct and uncommon that it drastically increases the coin's desirability and, subsequently, its market value. Now, you might be wondering, just how rare is this error? The 1971 double die penny is incredibly rare, with only a few known to exist. Numismatic experts believe that only a small number of these error coins were ever released into circulation, making them exceptionally hard to find. The rarity of this coin cannot be overstated. When a collector finds one of these rare 1971 double die pennies, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. The error was caused by a minting mishap that went unnoticed, and only a handful of these coins have surfaced over the years. Because of their scarcity, these coins are incredibly sought after by collectors and investors alike, driving up their market value to astonishing levels. So how much is this penny actually worth? The value of a 1971 double die penny can vary greatly depending on its condition. Coins that are in uncirculated condition or those graded highly by coin grading services like PCGS or NGC can fetch a much higher price. Recently, one of these rare pennies sold for an astounding $1.6 million at auction. That's right, one single penny worth $1.6 million. The coin's pristine condition, coupled with its rarity and the demand from collectors, propelled its value to this jaw-dropping amount. Now, I bet you're all wondering if you might have one of these rare pennies hiding in your pocket change or old coin collection. Here are a few tips on what to look for. First, check the date. It must be a 1971 penny, which means it was minted in Denver. Next, grab a magnifying glass and closely examine Lincoln's profile and the inscriptions on the coin. Look for signs of doubling. If the letters or numbers appear to be doubled or blurred, you could have a valuable coin on your hands. Finding a true double-die penny is rare, but if you spot one, you might just have struck gold, figuratively speaking, of course. Once you think you've found a valuable penny, the next step is to get it authenticated and graded by a professional coin grading service. The grade of the coin will significantly affect its value, especially if it's in mint or uncirculated condition. Grading is crucial because it determines the coin's overall condition and desirability. Even minor differences in a coin's condition can mean thousands, or even millions, of dollars in value. And when it comes time to sell, there are several options. You can sell through an auction house, a private sale, or even at a coin show. Each has its pros and cons, so it's essential to do your research and choose the best option for your situation. The world of coin collecting is filled with hidden gems, fascinating history, and the thrill of the hunt. Coins like the 1971 Lincoln penny remind us that even the smallest, seemingly insignificant items can hold tremendous value. And as more people become interested in numismatics, the future looks bright for both seasoned collectors and newcomers alike. We're diving into an incredible story from the world of coin collecting, a story that has captivated collectors and enthusiasts alike. We're talking about the 1959 Lincoln penny, a coin that has risen to legendary status and recently made headlines for being valued at an astonishing $1.9 million. Now you might be asking, what makes a simple penny worth millions? That's exactly what we're going to explore in this video. So, if you're a coin collector, history buff, or just someone curious about how a humble 1-cent coin can fetch such a fortune, stay tuned. Before we get into the specifics of the 1959 Lincoln penny, let's take a brief journey back in time to understand the broader history of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the Lincoln penny was the first U.S. coin to feature a president's portrait. Over the years, the design has seen a few changes, but Lincoln's profile has remained a constant. Fast forward to 1959, and the U.S. Mint decided to celebrate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth by changing the reverse side of the penny. The new design, created by Frank Gasparo, featured the Lincoln Memorial, replacing the previous wheat ear design that had been in place since 1909. The 1959 penny marked the beginning of the Lincoln Memorial reverse, which would become a staple of American currency for the next 5 decades. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1959 Lincoln penny so special and why it's capturing so much attention. The D in the 1959 Lincoln penny indicates that it was minted in Denver, Colorado. Normally, a penny from 1959 isn't worth more than its face value. However, this particular coin is different due to a mysterious and highly debated anomaly. Back in 1959, a very limited number of these pennies were struck with a slight variation that makes them extremely rare. The difference? An error during the minting process that resulted in a double-die obverse. This means that the coin was struck twice, causing the image and letters on the front of the penny to appear doubled. But here's the twist. Some believe the 1959 Lincoln penny features a transitional error, where a leftover die from the previous wheat design was accidentally used. However, the existence of such a penny has been hotly debated among collectors for years. Despite the skepticism, a few of these coins have been found and authenticated, causing a huge buzz in the numismatic community. So how does a penny, even with a rare error, reach a market value of $1.9 million? The answer lies in a mix of rarity, condition, historical significance, and a bit of mystery. First off, rarity plays a significant role. The fewer coins there are with a particular error, the more valuable they become. In the case of the 1959 D penny, only a handful are believed to exist with this mint error, making them exceptionally rare. Then, there's the condition. Coin collectors, or numismatists, value coins based on their state of preservation. The 1959 D Lincoln penny we're discussing today is graded as MS67 red. This is a nearly perfect coin in terms of its original color and lack of wear, increasing its desirability and, therefore, its value. Historical significance is another factor. A transitional error, if authenticated, represents a unique moment in mint history, an unintended bridge between two iconic designs. This kind of "what if" scenario sparks a lot of interest and competition among collectors. Finally, we have the auction effect. When a coin like this hits the market, it doesn't just attract regular buyers. It pulls in wealthy collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for a piece of history. This creates a bidding war that can drive the price up to jaw-dropping amounts. Now, no story about $1 million penny would be complete without a bit of controversy and mystery. Some experts question whether the 1959 D Lincoln penny with the alleged error is genuine. The U.S. Mint has no official records of a transitional error from 1959, which has led some to believe these coins might be clever forgeries. However, independent graders and auction houses have authenticated the coins, suggesting that they are indeed genuine. The debate rages on, but this only adds to the intrigue and allure of the 1959 D Lincoln penny. After all, every great treasure comes with its own set of mysteries, right? So, what's the current market value of a 1959 D Lincoln penny? As we've mentioned, one recently sold for $1.9 million, but that doesn't mean all of these pennies are worth that much. The market value depends heavily on the coin's grade, condition, and provenance. Coins in lower grades, or with less well-preserved errors, might fetch significantly less, but still, we're talking about thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. If you're interested in finding one, the best places to look are reputable auction houses, coin shows, and sometimes even online marketplaces like eBay. However, be very cautious. The world of rare coins can be a minefield for the uninitiated. Always buy from trusted sources and, if possible, get a second opinion from a qualified numismatist. And there you have it, folks. The fascinating story of the 1959 D Lincoln penny, a coin that went from being a common piece of change to a collector's dream worth millions. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone with a newfound interest in coins, this story reminds us that treasures can be hiding in the most unexpected places, even in our pocket change. We're diving into the fascinating story of a seemingly ordinary 1-cent coin that has taken the numismatic world by storm, the 1970 D Lincoln penny. Imagine finding a penny in your pocket change that's worth not one, not 100, but a whopping $1.8 million. That's right, today we're talking about one of the most valuable pennies in existence. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's get started. First, let's take a trip back in time to understand the history behind this unique coin. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was a groundbreaking design, as it was the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure rather than a symbolic image. Fast forward to 1970, and the U.S. Mint in Denver produced millions of pennies with the familiar image of Lincoln on the front, or obverse, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, or reverse. This was during a period of economic transition and cultural change in the United States, and the 1970 Lincoln penny was just one of many coins minted that year. But what makes the 1970 Lincoln penny stand out is not its quantity, but a fascinating error that occurred during its production. Now, you might be wondering, how does a simple penny become worth over $1 million? The answer lies in a rare minting error. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for mistakes, and the 1970 Lincoln penny has one of the most intriguing ones. Some of these pennies were struck on leftover planchets, or coin blanks, from earlier years. This means that the metal blanks used to mint these pennies were intended for different coins, or were from a different era entirely. In the case of the 1970 Lincoln penny, one of the most famous errors is when the penny was mistakenly struck on a planchet mint for a foreign coin. The result? A unique coin with mismatched dimensions or metal content, making it an instant target for collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for such anomalies. And in some cases, literally $1 million. The first known 1970 Lincoln penny error was discovered not long after the coins were released into circulation. A sharp-eyed collector noticed that the penny didn't quite match the other 1970 pennies. It was slightly thinner and lighter. Further examination revealed that it was struck on a planchet mint for a different coin. This discovery set off a frenzy in the coin collecting community. As more error pennies were found, their value skyrocketed. The exact number of these error pennies is unknown, which adds to their allure. Scarcity and curiosity drive up the demand, and when the demand is high and the supply is low, the prices can go through the roof. But why $1.8 million? What makes this particular error coin worth so much? The value of a coin is determined by several factors: rarity, condition, historical significance, and demand. The 1970 Lincoln penny error checks all these boxes. Its rarity is unquestioned, only a few are known to exist. The condition of the coin is also crucial. Coins that have been well preserved, with little to no wear, can fetch significantly higher prices. And of course, the historical significance of a minting error from a tumultuous time in American history adds to its allure. But most importantly, the demand for rare coins has never been higher. As more people get into collecting, the competition for rare finds like the 1970 penny intensifies, driving prices to staggering heights. So, how do you know if you have a 1970 Lincoln penny that could be worth a fortune? Here's what you need to look for. It should have a 1970 date and a small D mint mark below the date, indicating it was minted in Denver. Compare the thickness and weight of your penny to a standard penny. If it feels lighter or thinner, it could be a rare minting error. Some 1970 pennies feature a double die, meaning the image was struck twice, creating a slightly doubled appearance. This can significantly increase the coin's value. Point 4. If you think you found something special, it's best to consult a professional coin grader or a numismatist. They can provide an official appraisal and guide you on the next steps. Remember, while finding one of these pennies is rare, it's not impossible. Many of these coins are still out there, just waiting to be discovered in old collections or in the change jar you have at home. The current market value of the 1970 Lincoln penny error coin can vary widely based on its condition and specific characteristics. However, in 2024, one of these rare pennies was sold at auction for an astonishing $1.8 million. Experts believe that as time goes on and fewer of these error pennies are discovered in circulation, their value could continue to rise. Coins like these are not just currency. They are pieces of history and are highly prized by collectors around the world. Who knows? The next 1970 penny you find could be the key to a small fortune. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through the world of the 1970 Lincoln penny. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on more rare coins and their fascinating stories. Who knows, The next coin we talk about might be hiding in your pocket right now.